I was just saying that how a lot of artists are moving towards this whole reality TV type thing because this is where it's at right now because a lot of these artists do not have the platforms that they had before where they had the shows like a TRL and I mean they still have 106 in Park but and then they had these other shows like Video Gospel for gospel artists and you have your Lift Every Voice and there was a couple of other shows where they were able to really showcase their music but now a lot of these shows like Video Gospel are being taken away so these artists have to find other ways to promote themselves so reality TV is kind of like the thing to go to so big props to them, they're doing their thing so I guess in the future maybe we'll see a lot of other artists getting on board and doing the reality TV.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah. And I know because it does definitely help if you stay visible. If people are seeing your videos, if you're doing radio promotions, if you're performing everywhere, even with Trin-i-tee 57, it seemed like they always fared better, especially on the charts. You would see a lot of movement with them going up and down on the charts, but whenever they were like in the top 5 or in the top 10, that was because we had just recently seen them somewhere. So right. Angel Chanel, always stay in front of the camera. The camera loves y'all anyway, you know what I'm saying? So just always be out there, Yeah,
you got to keep your face out there in order for people to remember you. And that's what a lot of times I look at the charts and I see a lot of the radio charts does not coincide with what's going on the album selling chart.
Exactly.
And that's because you have to stay out there. Like Ernest was like #1 forever, but his album was not even in the top 10.
Exactly.
So it's like, okay, how do you have a hit single but your album's not selling? So it really depends. It really relies on whether or not you're visible. Like, are you on TV? What are you doing to make yourself seen? So artists, take some notes. This is what you got to do these days. I mean, yeah, a hit single does help out a lot, but you also got to stay out there and do things to keep your face.
Exactly, yeah, because it's already an uphill battle for gospel artists because you're gospel. So we don't get the big sponsors like somebody like a Rihanna or a Beyonce or Jay-Z or whatever would get. So it's sad, but we're working towards it, and big things are gonna happen for gospel. God's gotta order everything and give us favor and stuff like that. So, but you gotta put in the work.
Got to.
Definitely with that one.
Alright, so that's all I have now for the awards. I guess we'll get back into that on the next video.
Yep.
But I guess we can start talking about some of the performances during the show.
Let's dig into it here. I pretty much enjoyed almost all of the performances. Because for me it was my first time seeing these people perform. Well, I'm not gonna say it's my first time. Some of them I have seen them perform like at concerts or whatever, but for a lot of the artists like James Fortune and Fire, Ernest Pugh, Richard Smallwood, that was like my first time seeing them perform live, and it was amazing to me.
It was, but I kind of forgot that, like, I mean, being so used to seeing these people on TV and whatnot, I forgot, like, wait a minute, I was actually there, and it was like in the building, like Mary was in the building, Ernest Pugh was in the building, James Fortune, Kurt Franklin, like, yo, I was there. Like, I kind of forgot, like, it was almost as if I was just like watching TV again. But I'm like, no,
I'm here.
There.
And
I was there.
And like you're part of it.
Exactly.
So we're not just spectators. We are a part of this. And for you guys, if you weren't there and you're gonna see this on TV, it is just gonna be like you were just watching the show. But let's say Kurt Franklin opened up, and his performance was hot. I think he did I Smile. What else did he do? He did a mix.
He did do a mix.
It was
I can't remember what songs he did. I think he started off with his newest single, which is
Give Me That.
No, not Give Me That. It was oh gosh, I can't think of the song. God Like You, or I can't think of the song. I can't think of the name of the song, but he opened it up with his newest single. I'm gonna pull it up and let me see if I can find it. But yeah, he opened up with that. He was like, "Let me see you bounce," something like that, and the band or whatever came out, and it was
was hot. It was, he did like this hip hop opera type kind of thing with, you know, and if y'all seen Kurt perform, you know, he gave you his classic performance that he always does, but it was still refreshing, it was still entertaining, but it was 100% Kirk Franklin. I mean, he had these kid dancers that came out in these tuxedos, and they were getting it. They were doing the cat daddy and everything, and I was like, "Oh, Precious, Tasha love the kids. I think the kids just got a little special something in my heart. I like the kids, so." But his performance was high, and like you said, you go back and you're like, man, we're not just watching this but we're like engaged, with him, because he's vibing off of our energy. And even like after his performance ended, he was kind of still on stage, and this was one of those awkward moments because I still wasn't, thinking, oh, this is, like a television show that's being taped. I was thinking it was kind of like, okay, what's getting ready to happen next? And then the director comes in and is like, okay, stage is clear. And I'm like, oh, okay, TV, this is a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, Kirk did an amazing job. I really enjoyed his performance. He opened up the show in the right way.
He really did.
So yeah. Can't wait till y'all see that on TV.
And I don't know if there was like some I don't know if he slated to perform. He had to have been because of the performance that he gave. But I went to the radio announcements for the Stellas right before the actual taping for the show started, and Don Jackson was there, and he kind of made a little joke about, he was like, I gotta go because we're getting ready to do some more rehearsals before the show starts. He said, and we're trying to figure out a way of how to get Kirk Franklin on stage. And so I didn't know, if he was, saying that, oh, Kirk is here, but he wasn't slated to perform. I don't know what it was. Maybe, it was just a joke that went over my head, but I'm glad that Kirk, I'm glad that he opened up the show, and it was an amazing, I love that dude, so.
Yeah, he did a great job.
What was another performance that you really liked?
Well, who came up after Kirk? Was it Ernest?
I believe so.
Okay, so Ernest, he did his thing. I'm not huge on Ernest, so being that you're a fan of his, I'll let you talk about the performance.
Of course he did. He did both. He did Rain on Us and I Need Your Glory. Kind of mixed them together, mash up. You know what? They announced, and they were like, he has a 5-octave range and everything, but he seemed to me like he kind of struggled getting to some of them high notes, but he hit the high notes.
Right,
he did. But it was the ascend up to those notes, which kind of, I was like, okay, Ernest, you kind of pushing it a little bit here, bro. But I mean, it's, it was everything that I expected it to be. Could it have been a little bit more? Maybe. But I don't know. I think what he gave and what you guys will see when the show airs is pretty much what he does anytime he performs. So, I mean, it was just, and it's an awesome song. People, were immediately ready to, go into an atmosphere of worship and stuff. So, I thought it was a pretty good performance there, Ernest. Congratulations to you.
I mean, it was a good performance, but at the same time, it seemed, I don't know if it was because, how the director comes in and say, now clear and everything, but I don't know, it just didn't come across authentic to me.
Yeah, I get that.
It felt a little like performing-ish, if that's a word. It didn't, I felt like it could have been more, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was him or if it was because it was the show, like the way it was set up. But I heard the year before that when he performed, like he had the place in an uproar. Like they was just like going straight up in worship. But this time it just didn't come off authentic to me. It seemed more of a performance more so than an actual like ministering what you're singing. So.
Do you think that maybe he performed too early in the show and that's why?
I think so. That may have something to partially do with it. And being that he kind of followed up after Kirk, I think it was just an awkward positioning to put him in, and that's why it didn't connect, with the audience that well.
I totally agree with that. I can definitely feel that, cause and I got there a little bit late, so I don't know if they gave like direction about how the show was gonna go or whatnot, or don't be weirded out by the people running across stage, setting up stuff or whatnot. But yeah, I think maybe he just came a little too early, because I would have liked it to have been more of an atmosphere of worship and ministering too, and not so much as a performance.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that. It did come up more, performish rather than ministry.
No, I wanted to talk about this as well. Like Marvin Sapp and Dorinda Clark Cole host the show. But if you were there, you would have thought it was Akatunde hosting the show. Let me tell you, like when he did the nomination special with Trin-i-tee, some of the jokes came off a little stale to me. I thought he did a good job, but it came across a little stale. But I think it was because it was more rehearsed rather than him kind of like just freestyling in a sense and just going with the flow. And I felt like this dude this time was just like hilarious. And I think the Stellar should start considering letting these comedians host the show opposed to getting these gospel artists to do it. Like, look at BET and a lot of these other award shows where they get comedians to host it, and it just makes it so much like fun and interactive, and it was just a great being. I'm sure you're not going to see this on camera, but just being there, it was just like really good. It just made the show kind of piece together, and it was. I really enjoy Akatunde. Marvin Sapp and Dorinda, I kind of think they fell short on the hosting thing. They just didn't click well to me. But
they were better off camera than when the camera was on. I mean, like, they had more chemistry. Like you guys are not gonna see because you wasn't there. But like off camera, they would joke and they would laugh. And that chemistry was a lot better than what you're actually going to see on the show, because it was so, okay, we're coming back, Marvin Sapp, you need to introduce such and such. And he would do it, and that was it,
Right.
But yeah, like Jay was saying, Akatunde, you guys, he is a Christian comedian, and he was hilarious. He was kind of like, he kind of kept the energy going in between when they were setting up for performances and who was going to come out and present and everything. So he was there to keep the crowd hype, and he just was basically able to be, freestyle, and so maybe that's why he was able to be himself more. But he's so professional too. I like that too about him, But he was hilarious. He really was. And I wish that they would maybe do a behind the scenes video and put it up on YouTube or something like that. Because I would love for people to see that. Because he definitely would. That was some of his best stuff right there.
Yeah, I mean, they really, Stellas next year, if anybody from the Stellar Awards committee or whatever is listening to this video, consider having a comedian host the entire
show. Definitely. I think that would be a good look.
He said it needs to be on camera.